Shalom, shalom. Shalom, about to get started in just 1 second. Shalom, bear with me. Hey, shalom, shalom. Excuse me. Right. Hey, shalom to the brother. Y'all want a thumb? Shalom a lot. Rock a thumb to you and your household, beloved. Shalom. Bear me 1 second. Why it's not pulling up? Okay. All right, about to face the east. And I'm going to give all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahah, Wadash. Honor be to the elect elders of the nation of Israel that do labor and teach the truth with all truth and in sincerity. Shalom to all you Akim on the highway and hedges, making your body a living sacrifice according to Romans 12 and verse 1. Shalom to sincere believers, which consist of men and women. Shalom, Brakatham, and as always, Abad, Babal, DTA. Okay, back on the highways and hedges to prophesy the downfall of America, Babylon the Great. All right, which is also known as Nineveh, Assyria. Okay, Egypt, the place of bondage for you so-called Negroes, Native Americans, and Hispanics. Right here in America is prophesied to be the greatest destruction and the greatest deliverance for you so-called Negroes, Native Americans, and Hispanics, and also you speckled birds as well that may not look like the typical quote-unquote so-called black man or so-called Hispanic or so-called Native American man. All right, but you know, ultimately your bloodline, your lineage go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to one of the respective tribes of the nation of Israel. And shalom to the elder Sagalah, shalom, Brakatham to you and your household, elder, shalom. All right, it said Austin Chanel, love from Scotland. Hey, Scotland, okay. Hey, you know, there is a lot of Jakes. When I say Jake, there's a lot of Israelites that are, you know, that are in that, you know, Ireland, Scotland, all right, and also in the southern Italy as well. All right, so shalom to you. That means peace be with you. Okay, so you know, ultimately, you know, back out here to prophesy once again, like I said, a downfall. All right, we see how war is continuing going on. All right, we see how there is fighting nonstop with the Israelis in Gaza. We see how the prime minister, right, over there, so-called Ish people, right, Benjamin Nathan Yahu, all right, so ultimately they have the mindset, okay, of what? Of saying that that's their land, and that they're justifying taking that land when they themselves are nothing but, you know, wannabes, Ish, all right? Just the fact that they call themselves Jewish lets you know that these are not the people, okay? There's no difference in the same thing that has always happened. Even in the times of when Yahweh Shai was on the scene, you had Herod, okay? And we go to the history of Herod, he was nothing but an Edomite, all right? So a matter of fact, real quick, let's go to the book of Romans 13, start verse 1. This comes to mind, okay? Because although this has become very frustrating, seeing wannabes claiming to be, you know, us, when none of the curses fits them, right? It ultimately becomes frustrating, but we gotta understand that, that the Most High has a period of time to set these people straight, man. All right, so start book of Romans 13 and verse 1. And also shalom to the sis, Athena Padril, shalom sis, shalom Akwa, Brakatham to you and your household. Romans 13 and verse 1, and it reads, let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of Yahweh, okay? Because the Most High ultimately rule it in the kingdom of men, okay? But ultimately, you know, so we just have to what? Have to wait for the Most High to put what? All these nations down. So let me read this, Romans 13 and verse 1. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of Yahweh. The powers that are ordained of, the powers that be are ordained of out of one Yahweh. And let's go to the book of Daniel chapter 4. All right, all of this is ordained by the Most High. Our jobs, you know, coming back to this, you know, acknowledgement of being, you know, Israelites from our respective tribes, is to prophesy the downfall of America, man. Okay, and to wait for the Most High to put all these heathens down. So this is the book of Daniel, chapter 4, and verse, start verse 17. Let's go straight to the point. Hate that shit, man. Daniel 4, verse 17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones. And the watchers are the men on the highway and hedges, the street teachers, okay, the true newsmen, right? You know how in the world they have like the newscasters. So we are the true newsmen, right? This matters by decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men and giveth it to whomsoever he will. So it was already prophesied for our, you know, for to have Amalek, the Ish people, Esau, Edom over us, okay? And it's already prophesied that our land will be, you know, given to the hand of the heathens, and also, and you know, our land, and also us, you know, as a nation as well, okay? Because Jerusalem is a people before it is a place. This matters by the decree of the watchers and the demand of the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men and give it to whomsoever he will, and set it up over it the basis of men. All right, and a majority of us already know who the basis of men, the cave peoples, right? The Caucasians, the Caucasus, the people that dwell in the Caucasus Mountains. That's where they derive from. Okay, so when you see these cartoons like the Flintstones and, you know, a lot of these the Geico commercials, and they have like the caveman up there, that's literally Esau, Edom. Okay, the so-called white man. So back to the book of Romans 13 and verse 2. Whosoever therefore resisted it, the power, resisted it, the ordinance of Yahweh. Let's get that word for ordinance. Okay? Because like I was saying, you know, we ultimately, you know, come into this wisdom and knowledge and understanding, all right, grow in sincere milk of the word, to come out here and prophesy the downfall. Okay? And this place, once again, will be the greatest deliverance and also the greatest destruction ever.
G 1296. Diatage.
Right? Diatage. It says a disposition, arrangement, ordinance. Shit. Salakia. Damn. It's wind blowing. Hold on, wait 1 second. Wait me 1 second. This wind trying to kick up, man. It's like, I think I'm in Chicago or something. This wind is trying to blow. Wait 1 second. What? Alright. Should be good. Okay, so ultimately this is all ordained by the Most High. Right? It said, whosoever therefore resists the power, resist the ordinance of out of one Yahweh, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. Okay, the same way as it says, whoever taketh vengeance upon Cain. Matter of fact, I'm going to grab one. I don't want to butcher it. Okay, but ultimately you're going to receive yourself damnation, because trying to take vengeance, you know, yourself, and trying to take out the so-called Ish peoples, right, Amalek, right, that's ultimately is going to be to your own detriment. You can't beat these people right now. Okay, the Most High ultimately have to do it, man. He's at the forefront. Okay, he get first dibs, right? So it said that shall receive to themselves damnation in the book of Romans 13 and verse 2, and that lines up perfectly with the book of Genesis chapter 4. So bear with me 1 second. Get there. Whew. All right, let's start at the book of Genesis chapter 4 and in verse 10. And he said, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother blood cry unto me from the ground. Meaning Abel, right, who was the son of God, ultimately was in the, up in the spiritual realm, pretty much pleading his cause, right? And now art thou cursed from the earth, which have opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. And this is ultimately the Most High cursing Cain who came back as Esau Edom. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her scrint. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. And we see that now. All right, Esau Edom fleeing, everywhere, man. Okay, a lot of those, so-called South white Africans and all of that bullshit getting chased out. Okay, by a lot of them Hamites. You got some Jakes over there as well. And Cain said unto the Yahweh, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Now I won't grab that word for Cain. I want to see, let's get a word for Cain. Let's see what it gives us. Possession, see. You usually have, and one of the definitions got a sword. Yep. Bear me 1 second. He said, and Cain said unto the Yahweh, my punishment is greater than I can bear. And that's got a word for Cain.
Strong's H 7014. Cain.
Right? It's a Cain. It says possession, eldest son of Adam and Eve, the first murderer, having murdered his brother Abel. It says Kenite smiths. See what else it gives us. And it should say what? A spear. Right? A spear. Okay? Because, ultimately, Cain is likened to what? A spear. You can go to the book of Psalm 17. It says that, matter of fact, I'm glad that as well. I don't want to butcher it. I'm going to get back to Genesis 4. Yep, book of Psalm 17 and verse 13, straight to the point. Arise, O Yahweh, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. All right, and that's also what likened unto what Cain, who's known as what? His name also going to a spear. All right. Hey, shalom, Jake. Hey, shalom to the brother Malak La'ab, and also shalom to the brother Thawam La, shalom Malaki and Brakathum to you and your household kings. Shalom. Genesis 4 and verse 11. Slakia. Verse 14. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. And going to that face is ultimately meaning what? That knowledge, the understanding. Shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. And the Yahweh said unto him, therefore whosoever slayed Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. All right, so ultimately, if you try to take out, Cain, and in modern day terms, you would say, well, like the Ish peoples, the top rulers, the Edomites, okay, the so-called white man, vengeance is going to be taken upon you sevenfold, as it just said in the book of Romans 13 and verse 2, to your own detriment. So if you try to resist the power that the Most High has set up, which is, so-called Caucasians from, Amalek, then it's going to be to your own detriment. All right? Because you ultimately have to wait for Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai to take him out of power. Isaac, who is Yahweh Shai, if you can receive it, blessed Esau Edom with the sword. Okay? With the ability to conquer. All right? So if he gave him the blessing, he get first dibs to take him out of that, out of that power. All right, to script that blessing from him. So this is Genesis 4 and verse 15 in the KJV, and I'm also reading the NLT as well. And the Yahweh said unto him, therefore, whosoever slayed Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Yahweh set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. And the Yahweh replied, no, for I will give a sevenfold punishment to anyone who kills you. Then Yahweh put a mark on Cain to warn anyone who might try to kill him. And the mark pretty much goes into like a leopard. All right, and one of the one of the best examples of that is when Moses' sister pretty much was talking her shit, and the Most High and Aaron as well, but the Most High put a curse of leprosy on what's her name, Miriam, if I'm mistaken, right? So this is back to the book of Romans 13, and that's what brought me here. Was speaking about whosoever therefore resisted it, the power resist the ordinance of Adonai Yahweh, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. All right, so you're gonna put yourself in what in a bad condition. So in Washington D.C., you had some Northern Kingdom brother, right? Took it upon himself to take out an ish person. Now, regardless if was that a psyop or not, that's neither here nor there. Ultimately, once again, the Most High control all of this. All right, but the point is that a lot of these people are getting riled up against what? Against these ish peoples. But Jakes that are in the knowledge, right, men and women, especially the men that's teaching, we understand that our job is to wait. Okay. Romans 13 and verse 3, for rulers are not a terror to good works. And what is a good work unto Yahweh Bashim Al Shai? All right, to be out here what? Teaching. Okay, that's a good work. Matter of fact, I got, this comes to mind. For rulers are not a good terror to good works, but to the evil wilt thou then not be afraid of the power. So basically, a person that's doing a good work will be what? Let's pass by. Give me 1 second. Okay, this is a person that is doing a good work, and a person that's doing an evil work. Real quick example is like these little YNs. So when these little YNs, these little young niggas get shot, all right, on that gang and pimping and all of that bullshit, ultimately, we're not gonna feel sorry for you. Now, Jakes, we come from that culture, right? But ultimately, but when we come back to this knowledge and this heritage, and you have been warned, all right, a lot of these YNs been warned. They know exactly what time it is. They came across a video, a camp, but they still had got that rebellious mindset. So when the Most High brings judgment upon you, hey, it is what it is. All right, so that's a terror, but the terror to good works is what the men on the highways and hedges are doing, and also the believers as well. So let me grab this in the book of Micah, chapter 3 and verse 8, to follow off that word for good works. And it reads, Micah 3 and verse 8, straight to the point. But truly I am full of power by the spirit of the Yahweh, and of judgment going to what? Justice, and of might, to declare unto Jacob his transgression, and to Israel his sin. All right, so that's a good work. I'm not, so brothers all around the region, all right, across the pond, got brothers on the other side of the world, Australia, right? You got brothers, I believe that's a camp in Italy, right? So you got brothers everywhere, okay, telling you what to do, all right? Telling you that, the Most High is, that Most High kingdom is at hand. So that's a good work to warn our people first, all right? And also to tell the other nations of where they belong. Hey, shalom to the brother Hananya, shalom, brakatham to you and your household, Malak. Shalom to the brother Kabashana, shalom, brakatham to you and your household, Malak. Shalom to the sister Akwaf, Rebecca Ophir, shalom, brakatham to you and your household, sister, shalom. All right, brakatham. So Micah 3 verse 8 once again, but truly I am full of power by the spirit of the Yahweh. All right, being full of power ultimately goes to what? The Holy Spirit. And within having the Holy Spirit, it goes to what? Having discernment. All right, and that Holy Spirit is ultimately a group of angels. Okay, but truly I am full of power by the spirit of the Yahweh, in a judgment, in a might, to declare unto Jacob his transgression, all the tribes of Israel. Okay, and to Israel his sin. All right, tell you that, what you are doing is going all the way off. That's not according to the customs of the Most High. Scripture says what? To drink water out of thy iron cistern. And out of thy iron cistern, meaning what? Your heritage, your customs, what the Most High has given you. The pact, agreement, the covenants. Romans 13 and verse 4. Read a little bit more here. For he is the minister. I got a recent NLT, Salakia. Romans 13 and verse 3 in the NLT. For the authorities do not strike fear in people who are doing right. All right, we're not scared of these, these crooked cops, right? These, how Jay used to say it back in the day, these pigs, right? We're not scared of these, crackers that come in the truck talking their shit, or whoever, okay? It could be our own people. We still gonna be bold as a lion, man. And it's gonna be what's gonna be. For the authorities do not strike fear in people who are doing right, but in those who are doing wrong. All right, Tom Jake see a cop, he start taking off because somewhere in the back of his mind, he had done something wrong. He may have a warrant or something, right? He may have pretty much like shoplifted, okay? But ultimately, when we see a cop, it is what it is. All right, I'm out here, to prophesy, and that's pretty much it. For the authorities do not strike fear in the people who are doing right, but in those who are doing wrong. We like to live without fear of the authorities. Do what is right. Do what is right. Once again, come back to this knowledge. Grow in the sincere milk of the word. All right? Do what is right, and they will honor you. Keep the commandments, as it said, for that's the whole duty of man. Ecclesiastes 12 and should be 13. That is what's right according to Yahweh Shai. And we follow what the right way. It said what? Choose life or choose death. Okay? So when you choose life, you ultimately, coming back to your heritage. All right, the commandments. Let me grab that. All right, this is the book of Deuteronomy. Since I quoted it. Start just a tad bit. Yep, let's start Deuteronomy 30 and verse 15, read all the way down to verse 19. Okay? This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30 and verse 15. See, I have set before thee this day life and good, and death and evil. All right, the wages of sin is death. So you always are always in a mindset. If you're always in a mindset of pursuing evil, then you shall expect ultimately death. All right. See, I have set before thee this day life and good, and death and evil. And that I command thee this day to love the Yahweh thy power, to walk in his ways, and keep his commandments, and his statutes, and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply. And the Yahweh thy power shall bless thee in the land whether thou goest to possess it. All right, that's if we ultimately keep the laws, statute, commandments to the best of our abilities. Now, most people may say, well, what about, certain laws that we're not able to keep? Well, all laws is not worthy of death. And let's prove that. Right? Salakia, all sin is not worthy of death. Let's prove it. All sin is not the same sin. Where's that at? Bear me 1 second, I'm gonna grab that. Should be book of 1 John. Yep. Okay, because some people may say, well, what about the clothes and the missing fabric? Well, when you go into the law, you see the sins that are called abominations, right? You see that there are certain sins that you get stoned for, okay? But there are some sins that, it doesn't lead to death on the spot, according to Scripture, right? This is a book of 1 John. Whew. Let me grab this here. I may grab the NLT as well. Bear me 1 second. 1 John 5. Yep. 1 John 5 and verse 16. If any man see his brother sin, a sin which is not unto death. So yeah, so you got some sin, right? Missing fabric, but there's certain sin that does not lead to death. Okay? If any man see his brother sin a sin which is not unto death, he shall ask, and he shall give him life for them that sin not unto death. All right, so ultimately, do you sin? Yes. Wearing missing fabric absolutely is a sin, without question. There's no argument. But does it lead to death? When you go to the law, it does not. And once again, committing a homosexual act, that's an abomination. You're supposed to be put to death right on the spot. Okay? Killing your brother without cause, that's murder. Probably put to death. There's kill and then there's murder. That's a difference as well. When you go to, kill can be justified. All right? Murder cannot. Murder could be, you pretty much murder that man for envy. All right? For you wanted something from him. But we go to even in the laws, when you go to kill, right? If you did it unintentionally, you will flee to one of the different cities, okay? To hide. Fuck you talking about? Bitch ass cracker, man. These damn devils can't wait till they die. 1 John 5:16. If any man see his brother sin in sin, which is not unto death, which is what? Not unto death. He shall ask, and he shall give him life for them that sin not unto death. There is a sin unto death. There is a sin unto death. And I do not say that he shall pray for it. Let's read in the NLT, make it a little clearer. If you see a Christian brother or sister, and we understand that, that word pretty much going to, follow the anointed, which we follow in the Lamb. Sinning in a way that does not lead to death, you should pray, and Adonai Yahweh will give that person life. But there is a sin that leads to death, and I am not saying you should pray for those who commit it. All right. So once again, there's certain sin that leads to death, and there's certain sin that does not. Okay. Bear with me 1 second. I'm gonna finish this up in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 30. Now I got something else in mind. All right. So this book of Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 17. But if thine heart turn away, so that thou wilt not hear, but shalt be drawn away and worship other gods and serve them. Now that's what the same word of death. I denounce unto you this day that you shall surely perish, and that you shall not prolong your days upon the land, whither thou passest over joy to go to possess it. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, right? Choose choose the way that the Most High gave to what? Our forefathers. Okay? That are the covenant. And cursing, therefore choose life, and both thou and thy seed may live. All right, that's ultimately if we serve Yahweh, Yahweh Shai in truth and in sincerity. All right, hey, shalom to the brother Nathan, shalom thy win, shalom, a brakatham to you and your household, Malak, shalom, beloved, shalom. All right, so let me grab this as well. Can't see nothing. Should be the book of Acts. Give me 1 second, see if I can find it. Bear with me 1 second. Yep. See where I want to start up at. Bear with me 1 second. All right, let's go to the book of this is the book of Acts chapter 15. I'm gonna start it up just a tad bit. Start verse 15. Where's that at? Where's that at? Where is that? Here it is. Yep. Book of Acts chapter 15 and verse 20. All right, make a quick point. But it reads, but that we write unto them that they abstain from pollutions of idols, and from fornication, and from things strangled, and from blood. All right, so this ultimately, we go to the history and the account of this in the book of Acts. We start up all the way up. All right, you had a lot of the Jews trying to put a heavy burden on the so-called Gentile, which was Israelite foreigners coming back to the understanding. Okay, but ultimately you have to help them grow, right, in a sincere milk of the word. Don't put much of a heavy burden on them. All right, but start with the basics first. All right, start with the main thing, okay? Because as I was making a point, I was saying that there's certain sin that does not, lead to death, according to 1 John 5:16. So you got the apostles here, pretty much telling them this is what you should sustain from right now. All right, but that we write unto them that they abstain from pollutions of idols, and from fornication, and from things strangled, and from blood. All right, ultimately we go into that leads to what? Death. All right, for Moses of old time having every city them that preach him, being read in the synagogues every Sabbath day. All right, so that's pretty much it on that. Let's see what else we got up here. Okay. right, yeah, go on. Yep. So back to the book of Romans 13. Yep, this is back to the book of Romans 13. Let's start at verse 15 once again. Wherefore you must need be subject not only for wrath, but also for conscience sake. Verse 5, Romans 13, verse 5. So you must submit to them not only to avoid punishment, but also to keep a clear conscience. All right. So we being in this world, we gotta keep certain laws. Okay. We pretty much agree with, as it says, agree with that adversary quickly. All right. We're not going out of our way to ultimately to take out vengeance upon ourselves, as I gave the account for earlier, as far as Genesis 4. All right, where it says, whoever shall take vengeance on Cain, it shall be what pretty much sevenfold. All right. So we waiting for the Most High to put this damn man down. Okay, and it pretty much brought me here was ultimately thinking about looking at the news as a lot of other brothers was about the Northern Kingdom brother up there in the DC. All right. So you must submit to them not only to avoid punishment, but also to keep a clear conscience. For this cause pay you tribute also, for they are I don't want you how ministers attending continually upon this very thing. They say what pay your taxes too, for these same reasons, for government workers need to be paid. They are serving out of one Yahweh and what they do, because the Most High is using them as well. All right, everything is being used by Yahweh or Yahweh Shai. Okay, whether it's good or whether it's evil. All right, now so let's give account for that. All right, all these kingdoms that are have been raised up are ultimately being raised up for the Most High to show his power. Okay, as far as bringing them down. The fact that the Most High brought down Egypt, which was once a great kingdom. The fact that the Most High brought down Assyria was a great kingdom. Ancient Babylon, Greek, Rome, right? All these kingdoms of old, and they was brought down to the same thing is going to happen to Babylon the Great, aka America. We just gotta wait our turn. And our turn, Lord's will, is seeming very, very soon. So this is the book of Exodus chapter 9. Start verse 14, but verse 16 is the point. And it says, for I will at this time send all my plagues upon thine heart, and upon thy servants, and upon thy people, that thou mayest know that there is none like me in all the earth. All right, that's Yahweh speaking right there. For now I will stretch out my hand, that I may smite thee and thy people with pestilence, and thou shalt be cut off from the earth. Let's read it in the NLT. And the same thing is happening now. All right, plagues, pestilence. America is becoming weaker and weaker. But now I could have lifted my hand and struck you and your people with a plague to wipe you off the face of the earth. Verse 16. And in very deed for this cause have I raised thee up, for to show in thee my power. Now this is ultimately speaking about ancient Egypt, but we got to understand that the things that were written aforetime were written for our learning. Revelation 11 and verse 8, it says that there would be a spiritual Egypt. And in very deed for this cause have I raised thee up. The same thing, with Esau, Edom. All right. And not just Esau, Edom, always got to, pretty much separate it to say, Amalek, the Ish peoples. That's who rule. That's who legit ruling. All right. Those are the top rulers of today. As I was setting up camp, all right, you had this Edomite with a buggy, had all his little possessions in there, all right, beat down. Then as as I come here, I usually see a couple of crackers, standing out with a little sign, $5, $4, a dollar, a penny, whatever you could spare, with a little sign and shit. And this is their kingdom, but they're but their kingdom didn't do them no good, man. So you may hear brothers say, what, a two-time loser, which they definitely are. Because, they lost in their kingdom, and they're damn sure going to lose in our kingdom as well. And in very deed for this cause have I raised thee up, for to show in thee my power, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. All right? This is all to the glory of Yahweh Ba'ashem Al Shai. Like I did this. That's why you see where it says, I'm King of Kings and Lords of Lords. All right, that's the Most High letting you know, as Jake say today, I'm that dude, or they may say I am him. Okay, just let you know, like, yo, that's me. I'm really about this. Okay, I'm gonna grab this right here. I was saying something as far as saying this kingdom is becoming weaker and weaker, which it definitely is. The same, the same thing how the Most High was sending plagues, right, upon Egypt before. This is Egypt all over again, and we see a lot of the mirroring of America mimicking ancient Egypt, right? With some of the what you call that in Washington D.C. What is it? Obelix, if I'm not mistaken, right? So let me grab this here. Give me 1 second. So Lucky, bear me 1 second. Where's that at? Should be 7 hours. Yep. Grab some water, baby. Right? Because America, like I was saying, becoming what, weaker and weaker. And the same play that Most High sent before, he's gonna send it again. So let's go to the book of 2nd Hedges 15, start verse 1, and may skip down just a tad bit. All right. And it reads 2nd Hedges 15 and verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy which I will put in thy mouth, said the Yahweh. Okay, because before the Most High, acts, right? You have to have what? A prophet to come out there and warn. Okay? So ultimately, there would be no excuses. The Most High always had his men to warn. Real quick, let me grab this. Let's go to the book of Luke real fast, real swift. Luke 1 and verse 70. Yeah. Luke 1 and verse 70, as he spoke by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began. All right, since the world began. So there always been a prophet on the scene to tell of the coming, doom, or to tell of what Yahweh Shah was going to do. All right. The same thing with Adam and Eve in the garden, when it says they heard the voice of the Lord in the cool of the day. All right, that voice of the Lord was speaking about what? A prophet. In the cool of the day, that will you could liken that to what? A grace period, right? The Most High warning you to get your shit together, pretty much, right before He bring down the hammer upon you, right? So this is Baruch 1 and 21. In the book of Just 3, it says that what they heard the voice of the Lord. And the voice of the Lord is always a prophet. Always. According to scripture. Bring me 1 second. Baruch 1 and 21. And it reads, nevertheless, we have not hearkened unto the voice of the Idle One, our power, according to all the words of the prophets whom He sent unto us. And this happening right here and right now. You got many jakes that have drove by. All right, they do that with all brothers, right? Many jakes that come by, say, hey, may even give you a fist sign, but they're not gonna stand around and hear it. It's not gonna agree with them. Okay, it could be because it's not their time, or it could be that most I don't want them. All right, this place right here, that I'm at is very mixed, right? As far as you got a little bit of everything. You got Moab, you got the Ish people down there. Got Ishkar spot right behind me, but Ishkar, then you got some jakes over here, right? But they're not taking heed to it. All right, and the other nations, they pretty much ain't for them nowhere. So Baruch 1 and 21, nevertheless, we have not hearkened unto the voice of the Idle One, our power, according to all the words of the prophets. Let's pass by. Hold on. Hate that shit, man. I don't want our power according to all the words of the prophets whom he sent unto us. And that had always taken place. There had always been a man of the Lord on the scene to tell what the Most High was planning to do. Right? So, Salakia, 2nd Edges 15 and verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, said the Yahweh. And only the men of Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai that the Most High had put the breath back into, the Holy Spirit, can go in the scripture and tell you what's going to happen. These churches are not going to do it. Islam not going to do it. Buddhists, whatever religion out there is not going to do it. None of these religions have ever been able to tell you anything. All right? They always get confounded. They always looking stupid as hell. They always got that simple ass look on their face, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true, speaking about what the scriptures. All right, make it, as it said, make it plain upon tables. The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2. All right, he made that run that readed it. All right, who can only make it plain? Make it so there's a saying, make it so easy that a 5-year-old can understand it. Right? And even if you do real fast, even if you do make it so simple and plain, you still, that the Most High, can't have a spirit on a person that, he still won't be able to receive it. Right? It may be blocked from him, which is, heavy. It calls them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not their imagination against thee. Let not the cruelty of them trouble thee that speak against thee. All right, we're not concerned with what someone has to say. All right, we're not concerned with the scoffing and the mocking and the reproach. It's all good. Our Lord went through it. Yahweh Shai went through it. You had the prophets of old that went through their fair share of catching hell. All right, catching hell, I mean a condition. Okay, so there's plenty of examples. Once again, Romans 15 and verse 4, the things that were written aforetime was written for our learning. So when we read these scriptures, I've been saying this quite often. The basic and fundamental scriptures that we read, we must take heed. So when we read the scripture about our ancestors, where our forefathers catching hell, ultimately that's that's what's going to happen. All right, there's a pattern of that. There's a pattern of our own people scoffing and mocking. Okay. Fear not the imagination against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. All right. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So you're going to die. For what? For not believing. You're not going to enter into that rest. You're not going to be the ones that make it on the first go around. You have to come back with your head down, right? And be shamed for a period of time. You're going to be one of them that got to live with the fact that, the Most High, that's heavy too, that, that the Most High chose you to be rejected. Cause when you're 2/3, you're born rejected. Like you're born rejected already. That's heavy. But a heathen is already done. But the fact that you are 2/3 and you got to face that part of being rejected and to die right along with your spiritual with your spiritual father. Speaking about Esau Edom, because they're likening it unto Esau Edom, with the same mindset of them, right? The fact that you had to be one of them that died, right along with that devil, that's crazy. That's wild, man. But it show you the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Okay? But the beauty in that is that you get to come back and be in a righteous mindset and be in a righteous state. Okay? So let me grab that because I was saying that you're not going to enter into that rest. It says that all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness, right? So let me grab this in the book of Hebrews chapter 4. What the fuck? Salakia. What's that? They beat us, man. Let's start Hebrews 4. I'm reading verse 1 real fast. Let us therefore fear, lest a promise being left us of entering to his rest, any of you should seem to come short of it. There's a promise to what? To enter to that rest. Speaking about who? The Israel of God, the elect, the first fruits, the house of David. For unto us was the gospel preached it, as well as unto them, right? So, we heard, we all heard this word. But if the word has not, but if the word is not, dealing with you, if the Most High not dealing with you to receive the word, then it's going to do you no profit. For to us was the gospel preached it, as well as unto them, but the word preached it did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. So it did them no good, because they didn't have the faith in Yahweh Yahushai. These jakes back then that was talking about going back to Egypt for some damn cucumbers. It was good with the cucumbers and all of that, man. So you see how our people are very simple. Jake like comfort. That's why, being a disciple of Yahweh Shai, we get the word disciple, it means what? Having discipline. A lot of our people don't have what? Discipline. For we which have believed do enter into rest. The believers will enter to the rest. All right? The believers, the 1/3, it's top of the 1/3, the government, the 144,000, right? For we which have believed do enter into rest, as he said, as I have sworn in my wrath, and they shall enter to my rest, although the works were finished from the foundation of the world. So everything was already set in place. Okay, we just pretty much planning out a movie role. You know what I'm saying? Like the script, everything is already ready to go. We just playing out our part now. Okay, so when a prophecy gets taken care of, most of us be like, okay, on to the next phase. When you go to the word phase on Google, it goes to a period, like a period. So we on to the next period. We on to the next phase. Okay, that's taken care of. Next one. All right, next one. Skip down just a tad bit. Yep. Skip down. Hebrews 4 verse 6. Here's the point. Because it says that in the book of 2nd Hedges 15, that all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Okay? So they're not going to enter into the rest on the first go around. Speaking about the Israelites only. Seeing therefore it remaineth that some must enter therein, and they to whom it was first preached it entered not in because of unbelief. And now in this account right here, this is Apostle Paul speaking, right? He gave an account, as I was just saying, about how our ancestors, our forefathers, conduct themselves in ancient Egypt. All right, from the deliverance, from them having a fearful heart. Okay, speaking about those tall ass Hamites or whatever. Speaking about going back and trying to eat some cucumbers, right? Why? Because he was speaking about the fact that they didn't have that belief. So he gave an account of how the offspring of them, right, went in. But you had Caleb, that went in as well, and Joshua. Seeing therefore it remained that some must enter therein, and they to whom it was first preached it entered not in because of unbelief. Again, he limited a certain day, saying, David, today after so long a time, it is said, today if you will hear his voice, harden not your hearts. All right, be ready to hear. Okay, harden not your heart. Be ready to hear. For if Yahushua had given them rest, then would he not afterward have spoken of another day? Therefore remained a rest to the people of Adawan Yahweh. Okay, so there is a rest coming to the nation of Israel, but first and foremost, Galatians 6 verse 16, the Israel of God, the elect. Okay, just want to bring that out real swift. So back to the book of 2nd Hedges 15 in verse 4. Grab some water. Hey, shalom to the big bro Ariel. Hey, shalom malak brakatham to your household, King. Shalom. Wait me 1 second. All right, so reading a little bit more. 2nd Hedges 15 in verse 5. Behold, said the other one Yahweh, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. The same thing as I was, saying a little bit earlier. Those plagues that was upon Egypt is going to happen to the spiritual Egypt today, America. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled, meaning what accomplished, complete. Okay, you did your job, you did your mission. As I've been going into, the Most High ordained Esau Edom to rule. All right, he ordained a base man to pretty much, tear up everything. But that's all he's doing, is tearing up everything, man. Right? But it's all good because he was blessed with the sword by Isaac. And Isaac, if you can receive it, is Yahweh Shai. All right, and one of the first precepts that come to my my mind to prove that is where Yahweh Shai told them that your father was glad to see my day. Okay, should be book of John chapter 8. Speaking about Isaac. But let me read this again. Second Hedges 15 and 6. Once again, for wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Right? Revelation chapter 18. Let's start at verse 1. Let's read a little bit. And at these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mighty with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the spirit, so like it is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. All right, so this is after the period of America being burned up. You're gonna have nothing but wild animals that live here. For verse 3, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And Babylon the Great, aka America, you got a mix of everything. You got Moab, Ammon, Elam everywhere, man. Damn. You got Ham everywhere. I went to Houston. Me and brothers went to Houston, and I saw nothing but Nigerians in Houston, man. So you got Nigerians there, which are Jakes. Then you got actual Hamites there as well in Houston, in everywhere else, right? So this place right here is a place of what, a big melting pot. You got all types of nations right here. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of our fornications, speaking about what, those philosophies. And the kings of the earth had committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. So the merchants, you could liken that unto today, like traders. So you got like Moab, right? America and China, big on the trade and stuff. So verse 4, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, that you receive not of her plagues. Now, first and foremost, this starts with the mind first, because you cannot enter, as I was grabbing in Hebrews 4, you can't think about entering the rest of Yahweh Shai, not having faith. So pretty much you got to have, let me grab it here, John 8 and 32. All right, so start with your mind first. It start with being what? Being reborn again. That's the process of entering into the rest of Yahweh Shai Shai. That's a process of being, coming out the ways of Babylon the Great. So, quick two come to mind. This is the book of John, chapter 3. I'm starting at the top. Now, this is Yahweh Shai having a conversation with Nicodemus. It says, Yahweh Shai answered and said unto him, verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of our one Yahweh. Nicodemus said unto him, how can a man be born when he is old? Can he enter the second time into his mother's womb and be born? Yahweh Shai answered, verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born of water and of the spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of our one Yahweh. Right? That which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the spirit is spirit. Okay, so ultimately, speaking about what? Being reborn again. Shedding the mindset that you was raised in Babylon the Great. Shedding the Western society ways, man. Okay? Unlearn the bullshit that you learned here, because nothing but bullshit. All right? Apostle Paul said that, well, I count everything as dong. Dong is shit. All right? John 8 and 32, red lettering, how shall speaking. And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. So when we go back here, in the book of Revelation 18 and verse 4, and it says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and you receive not of her plagues. And once again, it starts out with shedding the madness that you'll learn in America. All right. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Adonai Yahweh have remembered her iniquities. The Most High has not forgotten anything. The Most High have not forgotten anything that these people have done to the nation of Israel. And when I say these people, first and foremost, you know, the head of the evil, of the wickedness is always Esau, Edom. Then you got the other nations, Ham, right? Ishmael, Elam, okay? All of that, man. So they all had a hand in pretty much, you know, oppressing us, okay? But they, you know, but really Esau, Edom, man, and the Ish peoples, all right? He said, for her sin reached unto heaven, and Adonai Yahweh remember her iniquities. The Most High had not forgot the atrocities, all right, and the all the wickedness that was done to our nation. So real swift, this is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, and verse 15. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 15. That which had been is now, and that which is to be have already been, and out of one Yahweh required that which is past. So although they may say, well, that happened to your nation, you know, being enslaved, you know, that happened like 100-something years ago. You know, genocide happened to the Native Americans. That was such a long time ago, right? All that, you know, taking place. But ultimately, the Most High has not forgotten. All right. So why do you know? So a lot of these Christians say that they believe in the Most High, but we see when scriptures start coming out and how the Most High does not change, he does not lie, he has not forgotten, and he does repay. Then all of a sudden now you don't want to believe. Well, I don't believe that. You don't got to believe it, but it's ultimately this is what's going to happen. Right? Verse 6. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double, according to her works, and a cup which she had filled to her double. So double coming unto Babylon the Great. Destruction coming to Babylon the Great. And it also says that Esau, Edom, right, is going to drink, you know, the bitter dregs of it. Okay? Because the other nations, they're going to be always in subject and slavery, you know, to the nation of Israel. But we're going to have Esau, Edom being sold unto the other nations as well. Okay? The auction blocks, right? So they're going to be sold as well. Okay? Because that's fair judgment. All right? That's justice. How much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she said in her heart, I sit a queen, I am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. The mindset of these damn devils is that they always is going to be in continual rulership. The mindset of these devils is that they always is going to scare these nations. We saw how Trump, was that 2 months ago? March, or was it, what's it? March or April, you know, these months going by fast. So it was either March or April. But the point is that he had told, I believe it was Iran, about the missiles, about, get rid of those missiles. Okay, he was trying to punk them. They were trying to, you know, make them back down, and they didn't. So they got the mindset of always of them being on top and them ruling. Okay, and still believing that they can flex when a lot of these countries have what nuclear capabilities now. So let me grab this. Right, Psalms 49 and verse 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling place to all generations. They call their lands after their own name. And you know, their houses, it's just speaking about, you know, them as a nation as a whole. All right, they believe ultimately that their nation is always going to be the top when that shit is waning down. Okay, that, you know, that whole bullshit of them being, you know, God, and them being this and them being that, whatever. Because we understand that they have a God complex. Okay, they've been ruling for, you know, really half a day for Yahweh Shai, for Yahweh Shai. Okay, it looks like a little over 500 years, but that's still like half a day. So they haven't been ruling that long, but for us, it seemed like a long time. So they've been, you know, getting away with a lot of atrocities. So now they feel like they untouchable. Their inward thought, Psalm 49 and verse 11, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever and their dwelling place to all generations. They call their lands after their own names, like the land of Africa was African Innis, right here in America, Amerigo Vespucci. Okay, so Revelation 18 and verse 7. So we see how proud these devils are, man. So it's more than well deserved for them to go out in the greatest way. And you're gonna have nations that's still gonna be here to look at the downfall of Babylon the Great. Okay, because it said that what they're gonna be, sighing and welling. Okay. How much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she said in her heart, I sit a queen, I am no widow and shall see no sorrow. Now, when you sit a queen, you pretty much are over something. So we see how America is pretty much spearheading a lot of the atrocities, spearheading a lot of the philosophies. Okay, certain countries that took on the custom of America, like the democracy, we see how that is pretty much failing. Okay. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Yahweh power who judged it her. Okay, and one of the main reasons why she be burned with fire, okay, when we go to our customs, anything that was idol worshiping, because there's a lot of that here. All right, anything that was polluted, matter of fact, I'm gonna grab it here. All right, I don't want to butcher it. All right, and this is what? And this is called the second death. The first death was with Noah. If I can't find this, all good. If I can't, where is it at? Give me 1 second. If I can't find this, all good. Make a quick point. All right, this is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 12. I'm talking verse 1, but verse 3 is the point. So this is what's coming to Babylon the Great. All right, this is one of the reasons why, because what? Idol worship, religion. Okay, a lot of our people still calling on other gods. A lot of more activity. Okay, so on, so on. So Deuteronomy 12 and verse 1, verse 3 is the point. These are the statutes and judgments which you shall observe to do in the land, which the Yahweh power thy fathers give it thee to possess it. All the days that you live upon the earth, you shall utterly destroy all the places wherein the nations which you shall possess serve their gods, upon the high mountains and upon the hills and under every green tree. And this is what's coming. All right, all these nations that serve these different customs, okay, and doing all types of wayward things, it's gonna be all destroyed. Because these nations, yes, our God is, Yahweh Al-Shai is our God, but these nations are supposed to be under subject unto us. Okay? And you shall overthrow their altars and break their pillars and burn their groves with fire, and you shall hew down the graven images of their gods and shall destroy the names of them out of that place. And that's what's coming. Okay? A great destruction, a great slaughtering, right? The burn down is coming here in Babylon the Great, aka America. I'm gonna keep saying it. Therefore, so back to the book of 8, Revelation 18 and verse 8. Therefore shall a plague come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. So I gave an account, of Deuteronomy 12, all right, of the commandments. So when we see something is off, and we see something is going way supposed to be what destroyed and burned down. So that's what's coming in America, right? And she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Yahweh power who judged her. Woo! For strong is the Yahweh power who judged her. So how about that? The Most High uplifted these damn devils, right? I gave the precept today in Exodus 9 and verse 16, all right? Although speaking about ancient Egypt, once again, that it can apply for Babylon as well, America. So the Most High literally uplifted these damn devils, the base man, just to destroy them. That's heavy. But the Most High can do what he wants. All right. This is what this Most High show, man. This is Yahweh show. Even Yahweh Shai himself said, "I come not to do my own will, but the will of him that sent me." Okay, so, you know, everyone got a lot to fulfill. A lot goes into a position. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication, lived delicious with her, shall bewail her. As I was just saying, you're going to have other nations that's going to, you know, hear about it and see it, about the destruction of America. All right? Not every country is going to be hit with missiles. You know, when I was coming up in those little stupid churches, I started going to church. Oh, nah, I said, fuck this. But anyway, when I was like 8 or 7, I can remember it, right? Parent dragging me in, and I used to hear about this, about the earth is just gonna go into a big old, like a big explosion. Well, according to scripture, that's not what's gonna happen, because it says right here in Revelation 18 and verse 9, you can have people, you know, welling, and we understand that Ecclesiastes 1 and should be 4, right, about the earth abideth forever. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived delicious with her. All right, you know, live deliciously just meaning, you know, just a good old time. Okay, everyone came over here, you know, to what? A good old time. This place right here was just one big ass party. Okay, hell for us, party for the other nations, right? Because it says in the scriptures, it says that you know, that the heaven above us will be iron and brass, right? So above us is iron and brass, but it's ultimately, this is the time. So it's our hell and other nations are heaven. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication, lived delicious with her, shall bewail her and lament for her, and for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. And this smoke, you can see a big ass mushroom cloud. Okay, a big mushroom cloud. There's plenty of pictures of that. All right, let me grab that here. And it's gonna go out in smoke for however long. It could burn up for weeks, a day, a month, years. You know, the scripture, you know, doesn't say how long this place is going to burn for. But after it does get done burning, you're going to have all types of, you know, wild creatures that's going to pretty much inhabit this place right here. Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. Now that 1 hour is literal, okay? Because in scripture you may see where, you know, it may have a date or time, but that 1 hour is actual literal, right? Standing far off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. All right? So it's going to take Yahweh Shai 1 hour to do complete damage to this place. Okay? So it took, you know, as I was saying earlier, you know, they've been about, what, 500 years or a little over 500 years. I had to get the exact, you know, the pinpoint, you know, time or whatever. But the point is, a little over 500 years, all right, since the Renaissance and all of that. So we see that how this place right here is going to only take 1 hour, man. Yep. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man bought her, no man bought their merchandise anymore. Right, it's all over. You know, that big ass party, you know, the good old time is done. All right. Now it's time for the righteous ruler to rule now. Okay. Congrats from the brother. Hey, shalom to the brother. Yahweh to Zah. Shalom, Malak, Brakathon to you and your household, King. Shalom. Let's grab this. Wait me 1 second. Wait me 1 second. All right. Yep. From the big bro Ariel. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 12. Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraided us with our offending the law, and objected to our infamy, the transgression of our educations. Right, because this aligns up with what I was saying earlier as far as the prophets. All right, the prophets are ultimately sent out here to tell you where you're going off at. In the book of Baruch 1, it should be book of 1 and 21, as I grabbed earlier. I grab it again. I want to butcher it. Okay, so the prophets are out here to do what? To tell Jake his transgression. To tell Jake where he's going off. Yep, Baruch 1 and 21. Nevertheless, we are not hearkening unto the voice of the outer one, our power, according unto all the words of the prophets, whom he sent unto us. That's not the one I'm looking for. Salakia, that's not the one. No, that's Micah. Salakia. It's Micah. Yep, so the prophets are out here to tell Jake where he's going off. So this is the book of Micah, chapter 3 and verse 8. And it reads, but truly, I am full of power by the Spirit of the Yahweh, meaning what? The Holy Spirit. And of judgment go to justice, and of might to declare unto Jacob his transgression, and to Israel his sin. So when we come out here, we are to tell our people where they're going off. Okay, but a lot of our people are not going to, take heed to it, which is all good. Salakia. Yep, Wisdom of Solomon 2 and verse 13. He professed to have the knowledge of Outer One Yahweh, and he called himself the child of the Outer One. He was made to reprove our thoughts, right? Because once you come to this knowledge, you're not going to be in line with this world. You are to what? Hate this world. So a prophet, a holy prophet, because you got scripture say what? Holy prophet, meaning what? Separate. All right. Because you also got false prophets out there as well. So, a holy prophet, you got your false prophets. So you got your true prophets to tell you where you're going off, to tell you what's clean or unclean. What's the things that the Most High accepts and what he does not accept. He professed to have the knowledge of Outer One Yahweh, and he called himself the child of the Outer One. He was made to reprove our thoughts. He is grievous unto us, even to behold. For his life is not like other men's. His ways are of another fashion, and that's absolutely right. Okay? We're not enjoying this place. As a matter of fact, we hate our life. Okay? When you come to this knowledge, you're supposed to what? Hate everything about it. Matter of fact, let's grab Ecclesiastes 2 and verse 16. I've been around, I never seen too many Jakes say that they hate their life. Okay? We don't, wish death. But we understand that but when we in this knowledge, we understand that we're not fearing death, man. All right. So a lot of Jakes, you may see that they have a certain fear, right, about everything. But we don't have a spirit of fear. Matter of fact, one of you brothers could post that for me. He didn't give a spirit of fear. Was it 2 Timothy? Was it 1 and 7? Or was it 1 Timothy 1 and 7? He didn't give us a spirit of fear. Bob Shaw. Yep, so this is Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 17, and it reads, therefore I hated life, because the work that is worked under the sun is grievous unto me. All right, hated life. Okay, everything about this place is what? Wicked, man. And it needs to be destroyed ASAP. Okay, but we understand that everything is according to Yahweh Yahushai's will and time. Okay, so we ultimately, once again, we're not taking part in this place. This place is what? Polluted, as I just grabbed, and it will what? Destroy you. Ecclesiastes 2 verse 17. Therefore I hated life, because the work that is worked under the sun is grievous unto me. For all is vanity, meaning what? Vain. Vanity goes into nothing. All right, vain. And vexation of spirit. All right, this place is what? Very annoying. This place is very, aggravating. All right. It said that Lot was vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. Okay. Hey, the water. Hey, the water to the brother Kabashina. Show on the water. Yep. 2 Timothy 1 and verse 7. For Outer One Yahweh have not given us the spirit of fear. Okay, so the believers don't have what? The spirit of fear. As I was saying in the book of Hebrews chapter 4, we have the spirit of belief. We have the spirit of faith. And you can't even make yourself have faith. All right, having faith has to be something that's ingrained in you. All right, inside of you. For Outer One Yahweh have not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Okay? being what? Sober-minded, being clear-headed. You see a lot of Jakes that, you know, you would think that was on drugs, right? But they probably haven't even taken no drugs that day, but they just bugged out. They got a bunch of demons on them, right? So I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna grab all right. So let's go back to the book of 2nd Hedges 15. Grab a little bit more. Speaking about the plagues and the destruction that's coming to America. I'm making a point. Yep, let's start at verse 6. 2nd Hedges 15 and verse 6. Let's read a little bit more. For wickedness have exceeding polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Once again, meaning what? Complete. Right? Therefore said the Outer One Yahweh, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. All right, so now prophecy is really going to start popping off. All right, you may hear the term like brothers may say, prophecies popping off like popcorn. Okay, because you know there are certain prophecies that are set for a period of time to come. Now we see things are really picking up. We see things is kicking up in gear. All right, with with the World War III, all of that is pretty much picking up. Day by day. It's beautiful to see the things that's going on with Israel and Gaza. All right, now you may see Jakes that may say what that has to do with us. You know, being simple as all hell. What's going on? But what's going on in these other countries? Eventually, that's going to spill over here. All right, not knowing. See, now this how you know how simple our people are. The fact that they may say what it got to do with anything. Well, Israel and America are allies. Okay, America is pretty much, is in league with anything the land of Israel, the people of Israel does, man, which are not the peoples. Okay. So it said, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood cry unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. Okay, and I gave an account for just like Abel, man. All right, who's a son of God, and he could receive it when it came back as what? Jacob, right? And Cain would have came back as what? Esau, Edom. Okay, stories, when you go to the precepts, it lines up perfectly. So we see, of how, these people is ultimately going to face what? Their judgment. Read a little bit more. And therefore said the Yahweh, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Right? Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. And this during the time of Ezra. All right, Ezra. And this after the Babylon captivity. Okay? Because Israel back then in ancient Babylon was in captivity for like 70 years. So yeah, Ezra, Nehemiah. So this Egypt now is speaking about, it had to be speaking about what now. Because there's no account of the Egyptians, the ancient, the Egyptians, the Hamites having control of Israel. Okay, so this Egypt now, we had to speaking about America. So what prophecy? I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretch out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Destroy. So the plagues, the same thing that the Most High did in ancient Egypt is coming to do it again. Okay? And that's a promise. And it's well deserved. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that Outer One Yahweh shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting in hell, and with a fearful consolation. Woe is the destruction to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draw nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. All right, speaking about what pretty much race riots, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, right? Matthew 24. Okay, so that's what's coming. And within that war, and within Esau, fighting each other, okay, in the other nations, they're gonna stop doing what they're doing, 2 Ezra 13, and pretty much go after Yahweh Shai, but Yahweh Shai gotta put a spear on them to fight. Okay, I may grab it. For the sword in their destruction draw nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and grab it. Right? 2 Ezra 13 and verse 1. And it shall come to, can't see it, man. It's locked. Grab it here. Remember 1 second. Second 13 and verse 1, and it reads, and it came to pass after 7 days I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the ways thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen unto him. All right, he's going to what? Yahweh Shai. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth fell it when it fled the fire. Because it said that what? His voice was as the sound of many waters. All right, a very heavy voice. All right, a very deep voice. And after this, I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Read it once again. And after this, I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven. All these different nations that was, pretty much fighting. We go to the valley, we speak about the valley of Jehoshaphat in the Middle East, okay? That's ultimately where that war is going to take place at. So they're going to stop doing what they're doing, all right, to go after who? Yahweh Shai. For the winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Now, when you go to that word sea, it's not talking about this way, but it's talking about the sea above, or the water above, like the Shemayim, all right, or the Mayim. When you go to that word water, real quick, it's speaking about, above us, all right, because the heavens is likened unto the water as well. Bear with me 1 second. Make a quick point. All right, Genesis 1 and verse 1, just to prove that the heavens is speaking about, the waters. Right? It goes to what? Shemayim or Mayim?
Strong's H 8064. Shemayim. Shemayim.
Shemayim. It's a heavens, heaven, sky, heavens, visible, heaven. What else you guys? Got the waters as well somewhere. Hold on, bear with me 1 second. Made over. Shitty. Okay, here's right here. So like here it is.
Strong's H 4325. My.
All right, just laying back off the word, for sea, but this is Mayim. Speaking about what? The waters. Same word, like Shemayim. So it's a water of the feet, urine of danger, violence. So we see that when it says he came out of the sea, it's speaking about what? The heavens, all right, or the Shemayim. Okay. Came out of the sea, but I beheld, and lo, he had great himself a great mountain and flew upon it. So with this great mountain, right, every eye is going to do what? See him. There'll be no mistaking of who that is in that day. It's going to be very, very clear. Let me grab this here. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Revelation 1 and verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kings of the earth shall wail because of him, even so Amen. And Amen, when we go to the word Amen or Amen, it means so be true. All right. And whoever those men was that, when Yahweh Shai was on the cross, and they stuck it in the side, whoever they may be, a woe unto you. And whensoever but I beheld, and lo, he had great himself a great mountain, speaking about the chariots, and flew upon it. But I would have seen the region, or place where out the hill was graven, and I could not. All right, it was so big, it spread it, all over. Revelation 1 and verse 7, once again, every eye shall see him. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, yet durst fight. All right, they was very afraid. All right, and that's rightfully so, because you know what time it is. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. Now, when we read these scriptures, we got to keep in mind that they speak in dark sayings, similitudes, and parables. So they give an account, they describe it the best way they could in those times. Now, it's ultimately just speaking about, the fire coming out of the chariots. Okay? And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Ezra was afraid. And this a man of the Lord. All right? He was of the lineage of Aaron the high priest. Okay? But he saw that vision. Okay? That, that was a terrible day. That's why it says in scriptures, never had there been a day like it. So the Most High is going to put a spirit, okay, on these damn devils to fight back. Okay, on these damn devils to fight. This from big bro Ariel, Ezekiel 12 and verse 28. Therefore say unto them, thus said Adonai Yahweh, there shall none of my word be prolonged anymore. Beautiful. But the word which I have spoken shall be done, said Adonai Yahweh. It's going to take place. Okay, so when we say amen, or regular term amen, it means what so be true. That's why it says, the scripture are what faithful and true. It's going to happen. The Most High not a man that he shall lie. For I am the Yahweh, I will speak, and the word that I shall speak. I'll read it again. For I am the Yahweh, I will speak, and the word that I shall speak shall come to pass. It shall be no more prolonged, for in your days, O rebellious house, I will say the word, and I will perform it, said the Yahweh Most High. Beautiful. As I was just saying that, you may see brothers say the term like prophecies popping off like popcorn. Okay, that that means things is what picking up, things kicking up more in gear. All right, which is absolutely true. Okay, because as I was saying, you got certain prophecy that was, prolonged. Okay, there were certain prophecies that the Most High had told Daniel, right, and pretty much told him that it's for a time to come. All right, loosely paraphrasing. All right. Look how we read about, ancient Babylon, in Revelation 18 and, many other scriptures. But as I was reading in Revelation 18, that was written over 2,000 something years ago when Apostle John was on the island of Patmos, right? And now we see how it's finally taking place. Okay, although it was 2 days for the Most High, it's like 2,000 years for us, right? I'm reading this again in the book of 2 Hedges 13, in verse 11. Make a quick point once again. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude, which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a certain of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. So let's go to the book of Isaiah 34. Right? Because that's what's coming. Fire. So the Most High and his army coming. And the army of the Most High is also those missiles. It's all, all this is coming to do the pleasure and the will of Yahweh first, man. So this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 34, and verse 1. And it reads, and in my sword it says what? The indignation of the Yahweh. Come near, you nations, to hear and hearken, you people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all things that come forth of it. So, so come hear about it. All right? Because I'm not just sitting out, so brothers and myself, all brothers all around the region, brothers across the pond, we, yes, we sit out here for Israel, right, to tell our people where they're going off, but we also sit out here to the nations to tell them that, yo, this big party of America that you love so much, all right, which is nothing but a smoking screen, right, it's going to be burned the hell up. It's going to hell in a handbasket. You play around with these Christians, because, they hear the word hell and it fucks them up. But we understand that hell is a condition, all right? Hell also meaning what? The grave, okay? So this is Jeremiah 1 and verse 5, real quick. Jeremiah 1 and verse 5. I'm gonna read this again. Isaiah 34 and verse 1. It said, come you nations to hear and hearken, you people. Let the earth hear and all that is therein, the world, and all things that come forth of it. All right, so come hear about your judgment. She's speaking about the heathen nations now, the actual heathens. All right, so come hear about this horror that you love so much. Okay? Because once this place go down, it's gonna be nothing. All right, there'll never be another heathen nation that rule ever again. It won't be Moab or none of that. It will be the rightly rulers, man. So Jeremiah 1 in verse 5. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. Before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. All right, unto the nations. Because we sit out here, once again, to tell our people, the Israelites, of where they're going off, and tell them, start shaping up. For the kingdom is at hand, and also tell the heathen nations of where they're going as well. So Isaiah 34 and verse 2, for the indignation of the Yahweh is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He have utterly destroyed them, he have delivered them to the slaughter. All right, so that's what's coming. All right, a great slaughtering. All right, and this is the wrath of Yahweh Ba'Shem Al-Shai. This is righteous anger. It's well deserved. Right, as I had grabbed in the book of Revelation 18, it said that avenge the righteous blood. Okay, Esau Edom has not paid for half the things he has done. All right, really none of it. Okay, them 1,000 years that he was in the caves, man, that didn't even scratch the surface. Okay, so it's not until we get your ass, all right, and put you in that hardcore captivity, all right, in righteousness. And they better off, man, because they can't be out here just roaming around. We see the things that they be doing: bestiality, right? Sex trafficking. They let's say that Jake into selling drugs, but we understand that how that shit plays out, right? How the CIA be involved in that shit, okay? So on, so on. That damn devil got a whole laundry list of offense. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and their mouth shall be melted with their blood. All right, it's gonna be so bad that you got so many dead bodies. Well, right here gonna burn up, but you got so many dead bodies, right, in the land, because also the land of Israel gonna be burned up as well. That the scripture said that we're gonna seek out men for continual employment. All right, so hey, a lot of these heaters is gonna be hired just to bury these dead bodies. Okay. And all the host, here's the point, Isaiah 34 verse 4, and all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. So as I was saying earlier, you're going to see like a very big mushroom cloud. All right, there's a picture in 1945 during World War II when America dropped that bomb on Nagasaki, and you see that very big mushroom cloud. But that was just a small, a small region. How much more so with, with this place right here? All right, with America. from east to west to north to south, this place all gonna be, all gonna go up in smokes. You're not gonna know what was North Carolina. You're not gonna know, which part was Florida or California. It's gonna be, the whole landmass of things is gonna change, the same way it did in Noah's day. All right. And all the Isaiah 34 verse 4, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down as a leaf fall off from the vine, and as a fallen fig from the fig tree. And this is speaking about what? The missiles. All right, it's gonna fall down. It's gonna be shot off. It's gonna go past all of the ozone layer and all of that. Right? It's gonna go all past that. You got Donald Trump the other day speaking about, I believe, called a golden dome. It's gonna go past all of that. It's gonna go up and it's gonna come straight down. It's gonna hit his target. All right, it's gonna get past all of that, man. So there's no escaping the judgment that is ahead of you. Their host shall fall down as a leaf fall off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. Speaking about the missiles. A little bit more. It said, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven, behold, it shall come down upon Idumea. All right, and Idumea is another name, like a Greek name. So when had this took place? Right, they love to say that Esau, Edom is done away with, but there's no record of him, being wiped out. Right, there's no record of that. That has yet to take place, so they're still here today. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven, behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. All right, and they are what? A cursed people. All right, starting off with Cain. Okay, where it says that you shall be cursed. All right, he's more lower than a damn fly, man, and that applies to his offspring as well. Okay, so that's what's coming to this devil. That sword, which is going to the missiles. Right. The sword of Yahweh is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For Yahweh have a sacrifice in Basra and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. All right, he's likening on this to a sacrifice. Okay, calling them what? Lambs. And why? Because this is coming to a great slaughtering. All right, a mass killing of these damn devils. All right, and gonna be a lot of these peons. Really gonna be the peons that are gonna get killed. All right, because the kings of them, like like the presidents. Okay, like your your top guy like Elon Musk. These prominent crackers. They gonna escape ultimately to go into what to be the first ones in slavery, which is great. Which is beautiful, right? And the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullets with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. All right. This once again just most likening them to an animal for the day of slaughter. Okay. The same way you get a certain animal fat, you fat it all up for however long, just for that particular day of slaughtering. For it is the day of the Yahweh's vengeance, in the year of recompense for the controversy of Zion. Okay, so whatever day that is, even Yahweh Shai said that he doesn't know the day nor the hour. Okay, but we are to wait, as I start off camp with. All right, not to try to go and take vengeance in our own hands. Right. Wait for for the Most High, for Yahweh to send His Son Yahweh Shai to take care of it. I'm almost finished. For it is the day of the Yahweh's vengeance, in the year of recompense for the controversy of Zion, and the screens thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch. Once again, this place is going to burn up for however long. It could be a day, year, 2 years, however long. It shall not be quenched night nor day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever. From generation to generation it shall lie waste. None shall pass through it forever and ever. All right. So that's what's coming. All right. I'm gonna stop there, but that's what's coming. A great mass slaughter and a great devastation to this place. All right. And all this is going to pass away. It's going to vanish away. So I'm gonna end it with this. Go to the book of Sirach, chapter 40. All right, because I said what's going to vanish. Bear me 1 second. Where is it at? Bear me 1 second. Grab it here. Make it easier. Yep, this is the book of Sirach, chapter 40 and verse 13. All right, and it says, the goods of the unjust shall be dried up like a river. All right, so the works of iniquity, all these riches that they have gotten, it's going to be what? All for naught. It's going to be what? Dried up. It's going to be given back to the, to the rightfully rulers. The goods of the unjust shall be dried up like a river, and it shall vanish with noise like a great thunder and rain. And this place is going to go up in a great noise. And, the missiles, right? The fire from the chariots. Read it again. The goods of the unjust shall be dried up like a river, and it shall vanish with noise. All right, so all this is going to be what? Vanishing away. The fashion of this world is going to pass away. Like a river, like a great thunder and rain. Right? So, so that's pretty much it. The water to all you Malakim that hopped on. All right, the water for you brothers' precepts. Okay? Make sure I ain't missing anybody. Bring 1 second. I'm about to close it out. All right. So I'm gonna turn to the east. I'm gonna turn to the east, and I'm gonna give all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rahah, Hodash. Honors be to the elect elders of the nation of Israel that do labor and teach the truth with all truth and in sincerity. Shalom to you, Akim, you hopeful elect on the highway in Hedges, making your body a living sacrifice, according to Romans 12 and verse 1. Shalom to you, sincere believers, which consist of men and women. Shalom, Brakatham, and Ababa Ball, DTA, Death to America. Shalom, Malakim. All right, and Tawab, Layallah. Hey, shalom to the brother Yowanathan. Shalom to the big bro, Ariel. Shalom to the brother Kabash Shana. And the water for you brothers' precepts. And Tawab, Layallah. Tawab, Layallah. Shalom.